What is up, guys? Back with another video for you guys. Mystar here again to show you the. No jokes. We're not showing the way. I'm just here to be a reflection to you, to show you what you already know, bish. Because at the end of the day, you know everything, and you shouldn't doubt yourself. Even what you don't know, you still know that you know. You still know that you don't know. And shout out to Dollar the Parliament for putting me on game with that one because he's the one who originated or brought up that concept to my mind, and always give credit where credit's due. Otherwise, at the end of the day, you're just being low key a bit of a vampire and that's playing out a little bit of demonic energies if you're not able to give credit where credit is due in those kind of aspects, especially when it's someone's intellectual property or if someone was the originator of something. But anyways, I digress. Moving on, moving on. Today I wanted to talk about uncertainty and certainty because the reason on why is because I've been struggling with my own little thoughts of certainty slash uncertainty, and I think this is the perfect time to use it as a teaching moment for myself and for others. So I wanted to talk about and give myself some certainty by jumping on here and doing a video about certainty because I already know and I've been going through these experiences for however long in order for me to even come to this conclusion. And also, I've learned these from um, watching Dolly the Pilot Man on YouTube. Not personally. Why did I say that? I mean, personally, yes, I did watch him, but yeah, the idea of this came from him. But I also went through my own experiences to even come to this conclusion on why it's even true. So I don't just be freaking watching YouTube videos. I know some people just be watching YouTube videos and then they be just what is it called? They just be applying shit to their life when it doesn't really apply. No, I actually like hear shit and I allow myself to go through an experience and then I know, okay, well, yeah, that's obviously true. To the point where majority of shit from Dollar I already know. Actually, no, all of the shit from Dollar I already know. And if you don't know, then you obviously don't know, and you haven't watched Dollar, and you haven't been through enough experiences to even know so. But that's besides the point. You may need to go through a few more lifetimes or a few more experiences for you to even jump to this conclusion and gain this form of certainty within you or to even know certain things as well. Because at the end of the day, we're just all reminding each other what we already know. And whether or not you're on this level or that level, wherever you are, you know, it depends on you. But that just also is a testament to the amount of experiences or lack thereof that you may have gone through in your life or lives, in order for you to have a certain amount of doubt due to what I'm saying. So even right now, the fact that I even have this certainty on what I'm saying out of my mouth and the conviction that I have behind my words, it comes from a whole bunch of experiences and wisdom that I've accumulated as well, you know. So that's, good segue for us to get straight back into conviction. And I wanted to talk about why it's important to be certain versus uncertain, especially when it comes to being certain about, even if you're certain about stuff that may seem insignificant or may seem even wrong in some ways, as long as you have a sense of certainty about yourself, then you'll be able to lead yourself toward better experiences that more mirror your internal space that you're already in because you're already in that space of certainty. So even if you're wrong about what you're certain about, or if you're certain about something that may seem small on a scale, and when I talk about whether or not something's insignificant or small as well, I want to define what I'm actually talking about when I'm mentioning whether something is insignificant or small. Because, let's say I like to use this allegory because I've written this down. But let's say if you're a basketball player, right? If you're a basketball player and you're always shooting for 3 pointers, but yet you don't put your full strength or your full skill or your full ability into those 3 pointers, right? This may be a dumb example, so bear with me. But if you're always trying to shoot 3 pointers, but you don't put your full strength or ability into those 3 pointers, you may luck out at a certain point, or you may get a certain time in the day where you do hit a few 3 pointers. You may even hit three in a row, or four in a row, five in a row, however many. But you may just hit those 3 pointers, and you also may even, when you do hit those 3 pointers, you may even gain more attention. You may even gain more notoriety. You may even gain more validation when you're hitting those 3 pointers, because arguably people are going to see a 3 pointer as something, you know, more worthy of their attention, more worthy of their, um, what's the word I'm looking for? More worthy of their validation or congratulations or celebration, all those energies. So you may experience a lot of these energies, which can arguably be better in some circumstances, um, depending on which lens you're looking at it from. But that's also pertaining to the world that we live in, because a lot of people are lost into validation, lost into ego, lost into upholding a certain vision of themselves. So they want to be appearing a certain way, they want to be seen in a certain way. But at the end of the day, you can't really control others and how they see you. You can just control how you act and behave. And if you're acting and behaving in ways where you feel like you can control others, then you're kind of doing shit backwards and you're going to end up backfiring that on yourself anyway. And if you don't think so, you know, ask anyone who's actually tried to do so in the past. And the majority of the time, if not all the time, I bet you those people are going to freaking tell you that, what's it called? They're going to tell you that validation or upholding those egos or appearing a certain way, it's really not all that it's cracked up to be anyway. So there's no point into getting lost into that, because you may think that that's what you want. You may think that's what you need, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you're just getting lost into a light or some form of ego where you're not letting things be how they actually are. You're trying to control the external when really you should be controlling your internal. And, if you're spiritually wise, you already know this. But for those people who, haven't actually gone through those experiences, and not to shame you as well, but, you know, it's just saying, calling a spade at the end of the day. I'm not going to sit around and beat around the bush and tell you that you're spiritually wise if you're not spiritually wise. Because, there's a certain level of knowledge and not even knowledge, because knowledge and wisdom are quite different, but they also have similarities. But when you're spiritually wise enough, you would have already gone through certain things in order for you to get to that point. You know what I mean? So back to the allegory, or the little yeah, I think it's called an allegory. So when you try um when you're being that person trying to land a 3 pointer, right, but you're not putting all your strength or your skill or your ability into that 3 pointer, versus if there's someone who's constantly trying to do the opposite. They may be trying to constantly land a closer shot. I don't know what's the closer version of a 3 pointer, like a 2 pointer or a 1 pointer. I don't even know if that's a real word in basketball. As you can tell, I don't really know shit about basketball, but I'm just using it as an example. So when this person's trying to land a closer shot in basketball, you know, but they're putting all their strength, they're putting all of their ability into that one close shot, right? Which, and in this allegory, in this case, strength and ability is talking about your ability to be strong in your conviction, to have certainty, to be sure about what you're actually doing. Remember, shot is really just an allegory or a representation of, whatever action, whatever thing you're actually doing in order for you to have some certainty behind that action or behind that behavior. So let's say this person's putting that closer shot in and they're putting all their ability and all their strength. um, they're most likely going to appear, um, or not appear, they're most likely going to land a lot more shots, right? They're going to hit the goal, or they're going to get the ball in the hole a lot more than the person who's constantly trying to land the three pointers, but they're not putting all their skill and all their strength into those three pointers, right? So yes, there are benefits to both, and this is why it's always good to look at things from an equilibrium perspective. If you've been on this channel before, you already know we're all about the equilibrium. So it's not about getting lost into a bias. And even that is a form of a bias if you're going too deep into equilibrium energies, because sometimes what's truly unbiased, or what's truly in an equilibrium state, is for you to acknowledge that sometimes things are quite biased. Some certain aspects of this world, this Masonic design world, are biased. So you need to call a spade, like I was saying before. And when it comes to this person who's constantly landing closer shots, right? They may be seen as lesser than, or they may not even gain as much validation, or they may not gain as much recognition, especially in the short term. But later down the line, as time goes on, you're going to see actually, majority of the time, the person who's actually landing the closer shots is reaping more of the benefits from that, because they're actually experiencing what it is to land that shot in the hole in the first place. And they're experiencing that over and over again, and training their mind, allowing themselves to accumulate more of that experience, more of those thoughts and feelings that they're constantly adding to when they're landing those shots, right? So then once they start to train their mind more and more, they'll be able to work their way up to the three-pointer shot. And by that point, they're going to be way ahead of the person who's constantly landing that three-pointer, but they're not putting all their strength and all their ability into it. You can kind of see where I'm going with this. At this point, so what's it called? You may gain more traction. You may gain more attention. You may even feel like you're growing or improving faster if you're constantly shooting the 3 points, you know, because you may luck out, like I said, and you may get a few shots in a row. You may get a blah, 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 and so on and so forth. I don't want that guitar in the background. That's why I moved the camera back. But yeah, what's it called? Then actually going to manifest more of those experiences of them landing the ball in the hole in the first place, because they had more strength and conviction behind it. They used all of their ability. They didn't half-ass things and have one foot in and one foot out kind of energy, right? So this is how you can apply this to your life in different ways. Like, you know, if I had uncertainty about making this video, or what video to make, just my ability to gain something, or to allow myself to create something to be certain about, you know, even if it stemmed from that original starting point of me having uncertainty, I'm creating more of that experience for myself. I'm accumulating and manifesting more of that experience for myself, so that I actually can, reap the benefits later down the line. And that also gives you more of that kind of Taurus stability and consistency quality, where you're actually able to create what you want to create, you know. because you're able to stay consistent and stay like knuckle down on what you actually want rather than, half-assing it and having one foot in, one foot out kind of energy, which will eventually lead you to gaining more experiences for you to prove that you should be certain about certain things, even if that means, accumulating or gaining experiences that show you that you were wrong all along, right? But just your ability to have conviction and certainty in what you did, even if it was wrong, led you to realizing and having that certainty of knowing, okay, yeah, actually that was wrong. You know what I mean? So it's like a little mind game that's going on where you're constantly um playing with yourself. If you're, diving into uncertain energies too often, you're playing with what's it called? I was gonna say you're playing with fire, which I mean, yeah, I guess that's not entirely wrong. um, you're really just playing with that energy of uncertainty, and it's a gamble because at the end of the day, you're going to constantly manifest and bring forth or give birth to more thoughts and feelings of uncertainty. Whereas if you kind of kill that at the butt, nip it at the butt, even if you have to start small, you know, just the fact that you're able to give that a go, you're already taking the steps to nip it in the butt. It's like when I was in New Zealand, in Rotorua, I ended up, you know, going around and knocking on doors. The only reason why I ever knocked on doors was because I had some sort of certainty or conviction behind what I was doing. Because that was when I really decided, okay, I actually want to start doing tarot cards a little bit more. I want to start posting tarot cards more, like how I used to in the past, um, so that I can realign with something that's more in alignment with my true state of being and what I want to see in my life. So I walked around my neighborhood. I ended up knocking on all the doors, and not all the doors, sorry. I ended up knocking on a whole bunch of doors, like going house to house and asking people if they wanted readings. Because for me, that was one, me allowing myself to gain traction and certainty, for me to gain that strength and that stability and consistency of what I'm actually doing. But also was to help me to get used to the fact that, not everyone's going to be into what I'm into. Not everyone's going to be interested in what I'm into. And, not everyone's always going to say yes or like you or even be nice to you sometimes. So really, it was for me to learn and take myself through that experience rather than constantly allowing myself to be in that uncertain state. Oh, do I want to do tarot cards or do I not want to do tarot cards? Bruh, sorry about that, guys. But regardless, I took myself out of that house. I went to the doors and I freaking did it. So at the end of the day, it allowed me to gain wisdom from that experience and actually see my abilities and my skill on how far I can actually go, you know? So, like, pushing your limits too. It is also one of those things that can help you to push your limits, just having that certainty. But having that certainty too would just manifest more energies and more spirits around you. That'll have help you to gain more certainty as well. And also, I just want to say this too. A lot of people get lost into spookism when they hear about spirits, but really, spirits is just talking about your thoughts and feelings. And thoughts and feelings are not spirits themselves, so don't get lost into that shit. Those are just forms. Those are like lighter bodies that spirits can take. Spirits take on bodies, or they jump into bodies and utilize them like a driver, and then your body is like the vehicle. So this is why you can observe your body and look at your body and see what it's doing. And you can control your body because you're controlling it like a vehicle, like a car. So you knew? That's funny. I love that. Um, so yeah. And then that'll lead you to manifest more of those spirits, more of those thoughts and feelings around your space, mentally and physically, for you to have more certainty. So it may come in an experience. It may come it may come in many shapes and forms, but either way, it's going to give you that same feeling of certainty, of sureness about yourself. And this is how you know you're starting to manifest more spirits that's in line with whatever space you're actually working with or trying to work with during this time, which in this case is certainty. And then later on, you'll be able to move on to the bigger, more significant or right kind of things because you already had that conviction, you already had that certainty about things that were, what's it called? You already had that conviction and that certainty about the things that were smaller or not as significant or maybe not right. So this will allow you to create a better path for yourself because now you're not leading yourself into more like damnation, trial, and tribulation kind of energies. You're actually leading yourself into a more promised space where you're able to um, gather those thoughts and feelings that you actually want in your space and, cultivate more of them, cultivate more of them. So once you do that, you're already on your way. You're already on your way to creating more significant, more meaningful, or more righteous type of experiences for yourself, or so on and so forth. So, well, yeah, at the end of the day, you know, it's really not about winning too. I want to say back to that basketball allegory. It's really not about winning or getting it into the shot anyway, every single time, but just the fact that you have the certainty. Um, the ability to be certain and and accumulate skills, accumulate your ability, you know, then that's arguably more significant and more meaningful than landing the shot. So this is where a lot of people who aren't spiritual or maybe so-called ignorant can, some spiritual people could learn from them because you'll be able to see that you can actually gain wisdom from a a lot of different experiences. It's not just positive experiences that you can gain wisdom and knowledge from. You'll be able to see, oh, okay, yeah, this person may be wrong in my eyes, right? But the fact that they have so much conviction and certainty, I already know in my mind that they're going to be led to a space of having more certainty in general. So this arguably is more beneficial in the long term for this person and this individual anyway. So it's not to get lost into a bias and think that you know it all or that your way of seeing things should be the right way to show every single person in your life. So yeah, definitely amazing, amazing to use that certainty in your life because if you're constantly unsure about something, then arguably that's worse than being sure about something that's wrong because you're just going to constantly put whatever you're unsure about on the back burner. Whereas if you're sure about something, and even though it may be wrong or, not right or whatever, you're still allowing yourself um, to experience more real, more true experiences rather than to overthink about shit and think about, you know, Mm. fighting and battling with your uncertain thoughts. Just the fact that you can, boom, stop that uncertain thought and give yourself, create for yourself a body that has more conviction, more certainty within it. you know, you're going to eventually lead yourself to a more, like I said before, a more promised land where you're able to, you know, eat or eat and accumulate more experiences of you feeling certain about things, which will lead you to being right in the end anyway, even if you were wrong all along. And this is like a really, really pretty deep witchcraft now that I think about it. Loki, I've just been thinking about like anyways, I don't think that's one to share. I was gonna share something, but I want to keep that for myself. So when it comes to those kind of things, yeah, it's like giving you that backbone, that or like um, giving you that conviction and that strength behind what you're actually doing. And eventually, you will be led to having more strength anyway, and you'll be able to jump online and just create a video about uncertainty because you've gained that sense of certainty again after you lost it. If you really want to consider that being lost, but at the end of the day, if you can, if it's what is it called? If it's in you and not on you, you'll always be able to make it back. So let's shout out to Dolo because he's the one who said that. One of the first people I heard that actually said that. So yeah, I think I should hop off now, guys, because my eyes are getting a little bit sleepy, as you can probably see. I'm getting good at fighting it though. So hope you guys have a freaking amazing night. And thank you for watching. Enjoy and gain some certainty, love. Please do. I mean, at the end of the day, I could care less what you do because it's your life. I'm really just a messenger and a reflection of what you think that you needed to hear during this time in order for you to even click on my video and see what I'm doing during this live. So, yes, yes, yes. And I will see you guys another time next time for the next video. Enjoy. Peace.